Okay. Yes, hello, hello. After the summer break, we continue with AI and blockchain. Uh, in the last presentation rounds before the summer break, we were addressing in a presentation series the topic of DAOs and AI. So in that former case, uh, the DAO was the first citizen and the AI was serving the DAO, so the blockchain, yeah. Now here we turn it around, and now the AI is the first citizen. And now we're going to use the blockchain tech in order to address issues that AI has. And accordingly, the presentation title is Leveraging Blockchain for Ethical AI, Mitigating Digital Threats and Strengthening Societal Resilience. So we're trying to combine blockchain and AI, so rather in this case AI and blockchain, to strengthen society and create more resilience. Maybe one could argue, okay, in the pre-summer presentation rounds, we did the same, but with DAOs as the prominent first citizen. So this presentation is based on a published paper. It's pretty fresh. And the lead author is my former PhD student, now Dr. Chipusur Dokwo. Roxana Voicu is from the University of Bucharest. Abiodun Ogonyemi, he's from Tallinn University. Then there's yours truly, then Nata Stura and Stefan Krass. They work just as Chipusor, they work at the Austrian Blockchain Center in Vienna, which is a spin-off of the main universities in Vienna. And yeah, let's get right into it. Oh yeah. So here's the agenda. I have half an hour to get through this. I'll try my best to do so. We have a bit of an introduction with motivation and problem, research objectives and questions. I'll briefly go into the methodology we used. That's necessary because this paper had quite some elaborate methodological, circles to jump through. Then there are the ethical challenges of AI actually, and the blockchain role that can be played to tackle those ethical issues of AI. So there's this dual use nature of AI. You can basically weaponize everything, also AI. You can use it for good, but you can also fob and fool people, um, create the mega woke AI and very biased AI basically, and violate privacy and so on. So then blockchain is very good. Then we have this framework which we developed, yeah, the CF. Um, so the framework for blockchain integration into AI, and the SXT stands for Sextortion because that's the running case here. We took a technical paper I developed, which was about a blockchain AI system to tackle and mitigate the issue of sextortion. That's basically when people get blackmailed online because they shared some explicit material to maybe girlfriend to the boyfriend, and then the boyfriend goes rogue and extorts or whatever, blackmails the girl. So this is the running case based on which we developed this framework. So this is then the use case, extortion mitigation. Then we have the framework components, yeah. So federated learning, data wallet, smart contracts, and zero knowledge proof. We go then into the benefits, risks, limitations, and policy implications related to this framework, yeah. So regulatory alignment and ethical AI by design implications, and then we have the conclusions and future work and some Q&A. Probably will run out of time there. So this is the paper. It's open source. You can download the PDF. and read it. If you have some insomnia issues, please take a look. We worked quite hard on it, and we're happy that it was published in the MDPI journal called Future Internet, which is currently still a Q2 journal, but I think it has the potential to become a Q1 journal, top journal. Yeah, so what's the motivation and the problem? So we have the increasing role of AI in society with the risk of misuse, yeah. So um, as I said, AI can be used for good and for bad, like everything. I can just, I don't know, use my phone, use it for a lot of good, but use it also as a digital weapon, or I can just even use it as a physical weapon. This one is actually so big and heavy like a brick. If I hit somebody over the head, even then it's a bit of a weapon. So yeah, of course we have digital threats. I already mentioned sextortion related to that, exploitation and disinformation. Um, so generally in cyberspace, we experience an erosion of trust, privacy, and resilience. So we can really attack society through means of cyberspace and destabilize society in many ways. Yeah. So there's an urgent need because of this proliferation in cyberspace also of ever more AI-driven systems, yeah, that we have ethical and transparent AI infrastructures, which I believe will become extremely influential as we move ahead. Related to that, I have here some screenshots from from the paper. So this is the ethical ecosystem for AI-based. Here in this case, the running case is Sextortion, but in principle, these blockchain AI systems, think about it again, DAO with AI, yeah. They can be used for so many other things, yeah, not just extortion, but any other form of violence, or also for whistleblowing. I'm right now involved with South Africa and Switzerland in putting a project proposal together about this, about whistleblowing. So there are just many cases here when it writes when we've written extortion mitigation, we can mitigate any other societal problem, also drug abuse, let's say, or violence of any sorts, domestic violence, abuse at the workplace, you name it, yeah. So the idea is here that we use AI for social good. This is a bit like an onion, yeah, with layers. Then we have ethical AI development. Of course, if we bring in AI for social goods, then it should be ethical AI. Unfortunately, we haven't seen too much of it. Most of the AI is terribly biased and driven by obscure agendas by the companies issuing AI. We have, of course, the broader onion layer of digital ethics, yeah, that we need to take into account. And ultimately, we want to have societal resilience by using these technologies properly, so that we can do good, yeah, good in society. So we have here two additional lateral bubbles, let's say. On the one hand, we want to have economic and social equity, yeah, uh, stretched over these onion layers, yeah. And then there's also regulatory framework that very heavily influences also what we can consider digital, yeah, ethics. And it's in the end all about using these very powerful technologies of AI and blockchain in a technologically neutral way. And sadly, at least on the AI side, this is a really big problem. Yeah, the AI we have is terribly biased and let's call it tuned. Yeah. Here's the second layer, which is the conceptualization of the use case. Yeah. We have here this extortion case, which we want to prevent and tackle risks. Yeah, I mean, this can go so far that, say, the girl where the boyfriend has gone rogue and does some blackmail and so on with explicit material. Girls have actually committed suicide, and with the bizarre totally unconstitutional lockdowns we experienced, actually this problem of sextortion exploded in society. So there are different, if we say we want to have AI for social good, there are different aspects to it. The societal impacts with broad effects and opportunities. Good AI concepts, yeah, where we have impact areas and ethical aspects to take into account, ethical concerns like privacy and biases. Frameworks like guidelines, regulations, and the potential, which it means AI for social goods. Certainly, I mean, facilitated with the help of blockchain. So that's the thesis here in the paper, that you need blockchain in order to achieve ethical AI. Otherwise, that's not even possible. So the potential is then that we achieve transformation and participation, not only for sextortion cases, but all sorts of violence cases. So what's the research objective and what are the research questions? First here to the left, we propose this CF-BIAI-SXT framework. So here at the bottom I have a brief explanation. CF-BIAI-SXT as a framework, it's a conceptual framework for integrating blockchain with AI to enhance ethical governance, transparency, and privacy in high-risk AI applications that ensure societal resilience through the mitigation of sexual exploitation. But as I said, it's just a running case. Any other exploitation, violence, psychological, physical, can be, in principle, studied here. So this framework integrates blockchains and AI to enhance ethical governance, transparency and accountability, privacy preservation, and therefore we try to build a pathway to societal resilience. So what are the research questions? On the one hand side, how can blockchains capacities be integrated with AI to mitigate ethical challenges in sextortion detection? So that's the main research question. We've split it up in the paper. I won't go too much into detail, but the focus is here governance, transparency, and privacy. Yeah. Achievable with blockchain integrated into AI to tackle all these terrible AI shortcomings that we are struggling with. And this way we try to achieve societal resilience as an overarching goal. So here's the methodology, just very briefly. We have this research question I already mentioned. So what happened was this has officially started as a position paper. I led the paper. It was a position paper. I published before a position paper in this journal, so I wanted to do it exactly the same way. It didn't land well with the first round of peer reviewing. The peer reviewers didn't like it too much, and then a lot of extra work had to be done. I did it, but the feedback was still unsatisfactory. I think we had like 4 review feedback rounds, and then I was too busy with finalizing the PhD thesis of Sovello, who defended under my supervision in Turin, University of Turin, very brilliantly. So I dropped the ball, and then Chipusur took over with the team with Abiudin and Roxana, and they then developed this elaborate methodology I actually disagreed with because I thought this would never fly with the reviewers, but it did in the end. So here we go. We had the systematic literature review, here a bit the details, yeah, what we looked at, how we did the research and so on. And then we studied the literature that we focused on with a narrative exploration, yeah, in a 3-step process. So we looked at the digital technologies enabling sextortion, the dual use of role of AI in preventing and enabling sextortion and AI for social good and resilience. And so we had then in this narrative exploration of the systematic literature review also the 4 analytical instruments, conceptual mapping, multi-layered analysis, tabular comparison, and thematic synthesis, which led to the integration point, which is on the next slide. So we had this integration point, yeah, which led to systematic.
Sorry.
Yes, you have a question,
Can I ask?
Venkata?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, in your previous slide, you said digital technologies enabling sextortion. Does this digital tech, is it like AI powered
Could
tools
also be.
that
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, you could you could do yeah, develop a
A
fake with
morphing
AI.
video or something using AI, right?
Yeah, yeah, you could
You-
just develop a fake naughty picture or whatever.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
So maybe for some, mostly girls, but actually this extortion thing, I looked into it. It actually also affects men. Yeah,
Yeah,
just as
yeah,
much, but it's mostly females, mostly young females.
yeah.
But
Mhm.
it's really cross-sectional, young, old, male, female, but mostly young females. Yeah. Yeah. So in any case, we had this integration point of these two branches, which led to the assessment of blockchain sustainability. What's the blockchain suitability as an ethical infrastructure for AI? Um, what are the complementary strengths of both technologies, and what are the ethical synergies between AI and blockchain? And as I said, in fact, if you want to have ethical AI, it's, in my humble opinion, that's my thesis, not possible without blockchain. Yeah. So this led then to the, with that insight, to the framework development of the concept. So we have the five core components: decentralization, enhanced security, transparency, bias mitigation, and regulatory compliance. Yeah. Yeah, going a bit more into the ethical challenges in AI. There's this dual use aspect. AI can both mitigate and actually also enable exploitation. So there are these ethical risks of bias and discrimination, lack of transparency. So we don't know what are the reasoning processes in AI. It's a bit of a black box model. Yeah. We have privacy violations. I mean, there's even this one uh, young American guy of Indian descent who trains the OpenAI ChatGPT AI, yeah. And he was a whistleblower, and he wanted to go to court because it turns out that these AIs are trained committing massive copyright violations, yeah. And he wanted to go to court in Silicon Valley. He had all the goods on OpenAI. He got killed. No, no, sorry. He committed suicide, of course. But yeah, very, very interesting. Yeah, just before the court case. Too bad, young guy, of course, wants to kill himself. Yeah. So yeah, we have these privacy violations. Yeah, because the AI just grabs everything and uses it for its training. And also abuse in very sensitive domains, like very private domains. Yeah. So what's the blockchain role? We have this immutable traceability, as I told you already before. Whatever ends up on the blockchain stays on the blockchain. We have these transparent records, yeah, that are on chain. We can practice decentralized governance. So that's primarily through DAOs, and then have smart contracts to enable us have verifiable logic. We can also preserve privacy. So, for example, we can employ zero knowledge proof or homomorphic encryption. So, blockchain, in other words, tackles all these challenges in AI. Yeah, that is so unfortunate. So there's a bit of a symbiotic relationship. Yeah. So for this framework, we then came up with these three implementation layers. Yeah, the framework for blockchain integrated into AI for Sextortion. So we have on the one hand side the technical enablement, where we combine AI and blockchain, yeah, integrate both. Yeah. Then we have the governance alignment. Yeah. So ethical principles that we want to guard with DAO oversight, yeah, decentralized autonomous organization oversight. And then we have the continuous oversight, where we continually monitor and audit and check the resilience metrics with blockchain, yeah, because we just keep storing events on chain, yeah. So this figure I've already gone through with this different concerns, impacts, and frameworks and potential for AI as a social good. So you see now that this is really only possible to emerge in this combination. Yeah, symbiotic relationship AI can only become ethical with a blockchain integration. So for this sextortion mitigation, I mean, what is sextortion? It's a coercion via threats to release intimate content. The global scale is massive, more than 10,000 cases annually in some countries alone. Yeah, so it's huge. So and it really exploded when we had all these unconstitutional, dubious lockdowns. Yeah. And many people actually commit suicide. I mean, real suicide, not like the unfortunate whistleblower for OpenAI, but it's real suicide in this case because of the extortion. Yeah. So we can use the AI role in detecting, reporting, and moderating in the Sextortion concept. Well, the system, the conceptual system design for Sextortion mitigation. We reference the paper. It's a technical report which is on Arxiv. We reference it in the journal paper, where I shared with you the screenshot. We basically have a DAO that's co-equipped with agentic AI. Yeah. And with this agentic AI, the role of AI is to detect, report, and moderate. Yeah. And the blockchain role is to ensure the integrity of evidence. Yeah. So whatever evidence is delivered that's stored online, we check the integrity. We try to, through DAO mechanisms, organize support for victim-controlled data wallets, yeah, and try to enable cross-border auditability. Yeah. Yeah. So did I not jump? No. Okay. So yeah, the framework components. So we express this here in BPMN models. Yeah. So let's assume we have here a bunch of organizations here, the blockchain. The approach would be federated machine learning with privacy preserving AI training, and then have data wallets, yeah, that are victim controlled for being able to give, I mean, give the victim the power to give consent for data sharing. The smart contracts in the picture are for the ethical enforcement and verifiability, and then we have zero knowledge proofs to assure the confidentiality in sensitive cases. Yeah. So the assumption here is, okay, we have the blockchain, we have here several organizations that are prepared with mitigating a extortion case. Also, the victim actually submits the data. We verify the data requirements if they're satisfied. Yeah, we create models, yeah, that we incentivize and achieve a model consensus actually in a federated machine learning sense. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I just lost you for a minute.
Okay.
Thanks.
No, I'm here. Yeah. So what are the benefits versus risks and limitations? So this combination of AI and blockchain becomes trustable and auditable. Yeah. So the steps, the logical reasoning steps that AI takes, they are stored on chain. Yeah. So the AI becomes suddenly trustable and auditable in a decision making. We have then stronger privacy and consent protection because of the cryptography integration via the blockchain that's integrated into the AI. We have more resilience against abuse and manipulation of AI systems, yeah, and cross-institutional governance with monitoring through a DAO on top. Yeah, so there's also blockchain side. So what are the risks and limitations from a technical point of view? Scalability, latency, and energy use. Yeah. If we bring in blockchain, then the question, is it really scalable to large systems? Of course, with proof of X, the validation algos, we have latency issues. And if we would even go for proof of work, we would have considerable energy usage. Yeah. The AI itself, of course, has a lot of energy use as well. The governance needs to be based on clear rules and human oversight. From a legal point of view, we have fragmented jurisdiction and enforcement. Yeah, let's say we have such systems that need to span over larger territories, say for Sextortion across the European Union space. Yeah. And from a social point of view, that there's maybe too much fear, so there's no user adoption and lack of awareness. So what are the policy implications? And so on the one hand side, we have the regulatory alignment. Yeah, it's important to have interdisciplinary regulation. Yeah, so technical, legal, and ethical domains must converge, and there's a thus harmonization needed across multiple layers. On the one hand side, we have the European GDPR for data privacy, consent, and right to be forgotten. Then the EU AI Act, which is a bit newer. With high risk AI classification and prohibited practices that need to be taken into account. And then the respective national sextortion laws that are very fragmented and have varying definitions. So, for example, in Switzerland, if you go to the police as a young girl and say you've been victim of a sextortion case and you report this to the police, then you actually make yourself a criminal as well. Yeah. Because sharing explicit material on the internet is illegal. So, for example, in Switzerland, with their sextortion laws, not only do you become a victim in one side because of the sextortion, say as a young girl, but when you go to the police, you become a victim again, yeah, because of nonsensical legal regulations that punish, say, the young girl again, yeah, or whoever is a sextortion victim. Yeah, and then of course we have the very interesting aspect of cross-border enforcement that remains a major challenge because of very different regulations how to tackle this matter. And then we have the policy implications for ethical AI by design. So the ethical AI must be embedded from the start, where we take into account fairness, accountability, explainability, transparency, and also use the blockchain as a governance infrastructure. So we use the smart contracts to enforce compliance and preferable decentralized autonomous organizations for participatory oversight. So the recommendations policy-wise are that we require privacy-preserving AI with zero-knowledge proofs and federated learning. We mandate audit trails for sensitive AI deployment, again, only possible with blockchain integration, and encourage the co-creation with NGOs, regulatories, and survivors, so that we have the competent human oversight. Yeah. So what are the conclusions? And I'm actually even in time. So the CF-BIAI-SXT framework represents a conceptual foundation for integrating blockchain with AI so that we can safeguard ethical values in digital societies, which are becoming ever more prevalent. We demonstrate how blockchain's immutability, decentralization, and auditability complements the adaptability of AI for sensitive contexts. The running case has been Sextortion as a paradigmatic high-risk use case, yeah, but can be replaced with anything else. So we highlight the vulnerabilities in privacy, consent, and governance. It's for us a test bed, this case, for the broad applications in cybersecurity and digital abuse prevention, way beyond merely sextortion, any case of violence, psychologically and or physically. So the broader implications are that we have a framework that fosters societal resilience, published in the paper, by reinforcing trust in socio-technical systems, yeah, taking also legal into account. So this provides policy and technical guidance for AI ethics implementation. Yeah? And what I have not mentioned yet is that we also, or I actually created a little GPT, yeah, where you can check, you can upload PDFs about systems you want to have rapidly analyzed with quick indicators how ethical your AI system is, yeah, and what steps you can take to improve that, yeah. So what's the future work? On the one hand side, this technical report about the Sextortion system we would like to turn into a prototype we're looking for funding for this. So that's a proof of concept system for federated learning with blockchain and zero knowledge proof. We would like to run cross-border pilots, so that we really get the hands-on experience with the legal fragmentation and interoperability. Like in Switzerland, you become a criminal if you report a sextortion case as a victim to the police. In other countries, that's better done. Yeah. We would like to expand into other domains like disinformation, healthcare data misuse, cyberbullying, and have interdisciplinary collaboration with regulators, NGOs, technologists, and survivors, co-developing ethical infrastructures. Yeah, thank you very much. And I got through the entire presentation. I think we will time out soon, but are there any questions from the audience?
Yeah, so the thing is, you developed this current model only through the literature review is the method that you used for this paper, or
No,
besides
we have a
literature
running
review?
case. We benchmarked it against this running case of Sextortion. So this based on a conceptual study that we published in technical reports. It's referenced in the journal paper. You will find the technical reports that